Hello everyone and welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name's Michael and I'm bitten by a radioactive book. Today is Monday and that means another weekly wrap-up on my channel, the segment where I talk about all the books I managed to finish last week. First off, we have Red Shirts by John Scalzi. Red Shirts follows Andy Dahl, who is a new recruit on the starship Intrepid, and he and his other fellow recruits, get to know that on this ship a lot of people actually die while being on away missions. And they kind of investigate this mystery, because of course they don't want to die on an away mission. So basically Red Shirts is a parody of Star Trek, of course, there's hinted at that mostly like characters who aren't named and just maybe are a security guy and wear a red shirt on an away mission usually die on Star Trek, and none of the named officer characters, of course. So that was really interesting, and it has the usual Scalzi humor, as it is a parody even more than that. But the book was a very strange experience, because it has a very unique structure to it. I can't go into too much detail about the plot, but you have to imagine that that story I talked about is about the first 75% of the book. And the last quarter of the book are three codas. And they are more like contemporary short stories that are loosely related to the rest of the book. And that was really off-putting for me, because I don't like short stories and I don't like the contemporary setting. So I have a book where 75% were really enjoyable and I would rate these like 4 stars, and then I get like 3 contemporary stories that honestly I would like to rate 1 star. And as this experience was the ending of the book, the book left me very frustrated. So impulsively I wanted to give the whole book like 1 star, because for me personally these 3 codas really destroyed the experience of the book. But to be fair, as I enjoyed 75% of the book, I decided to give it 3 stars in the end, so 4 stars for the first 75% and 1 star for the last 25. Next up, I finished The Reptile Room by Lemony Snicket, which is the second installment in his series of unfortunate events. I kind of enjoyed it. It's the same a bit as the first book. It had some stronger points. I think the resolution was better than like in the first book, and it had some characters that I enjoyed more, especially Uncle Monty, the new kind of relative, the Baudelaire orphans, which are the main characters of the series, go to live with. But still it is like a 3-star read for me. That means I enjoyed the book, I liked it, but it's nothing special. It's like, of course, a children and middle grade book, and therefore it lacks like the complexity or the special something I would want to see for a book I'm giving 4 or 5 stars. Next up we have Emperor of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. It's the final volume in the Broken Empire trilogy, following the character York of Ankrath on his way to power. So this is the story of a villain who comes into power and is highly influenced by his traumatic past, because he has seen his mother and his brother being killed. Um, and the whole experience of maybe even the series is a bit of a fever dream. We have in each book we have like a present timeline and a past timeline, so you have to keep up with two timelines already, but then in each of the timelines there also can be like other flashbacks or dreams. And especially in Emperor of Thorns in the first half, it is very dream heavy, and so often I had to pay attention where I actually was, what is dream, what is reality. And yeah, that made for kind of a fever dream reading experience. Nonetheless, the reading experience was really great. I enjoyed myself. It's definitely a very unique series with a very unique setting. I can't talk about it too much for because I don't want to give away spoilers. Yeah, but it's really interesting, and I think it was a good conclusion to the series. And as with the first two books, I rated it 4 stars in the end, and found it to be a great conclusion to the series. Next up, I finished Alana by Tamora Pierce, the first book in her Song of the Lioness quartet. I wanted to read this series because a lot of the fantasy booktubers talk very fondly of Tamora Pierce, and that this is one of the series that brought them to fantasy, and yeah, that they kind of like to reread. And I hadn't read a book by Tamora Pierce myself so far. I was surprised that I was really invested in the story, although it lacks world building and complexity. But having said that, it was like a page turner. One of the people I read it with said each kind of chapter has the feeling of like an episode, maybe of a children's a TV show. So it has like a binding narrative, of course, but each could be seen as more of an episode on its own. I liked this kind of structure in this book, and yeah, I really was surprised that I like it so much. So in the end, I rated it 4 stars. And finally, I read Hive Monkey by Gareth L. Powell. It's the second installment in his Egg Egg Macaque trilogy. Yeah, it is a very interesting series. It seems silly because, of course, the monkey is like the main thing that you spot, and he's kind of the main character of the series. So you would think it would be more of a silly series, but actually it's a series of great cyberpunk adventures. This time we even have like attacks from another dimension in it. So yeah, it's a really good science fiction series, and it is a great mix-up of more humorous scenes with the monkey involved, but also, yeah, as I said, more dramatic scenes. Having said that, I found the second book not as good as the first. I think the stakes were higher in this one. This was really interesting, but yeah, maybe it lacked the bit of the surprise that the first book kind of offered, and the uniqueness. But nonetheless, it was a very enjoyable read, and so I rated it 3 stars. And yeah, I hope to read the final volume in the series very soon, because I have an art copy of it, and yeah, I want to bring that as a review to you as well. So that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of me, subscribe to my channel. If you want to know what's coming up on my channel, please look inside the description box. There's a little segment there called On the Horizon. I wish you a good day and hope you get bitten by a really good book too. Bye.